Save some green this March by visiting the new Lloydminster Nissan in the Big Blue Building on Highway 16 West. Purchase a new car, truck, or SUV from the new Lloydminster Nissan this March and get lucky. Right now at the new Lloydminster Nissan, your first payment is on us, and you can win free payments for a year with your new or pre-owned purchase. May the luck of the Irish be with you all March and all year. The new Lloydminster Nissan. We won't sell you a car, we'll help you buy one.
At Lloydminster and District Co-op, membership matters more. Because being part of a co-op means you're connected to something bigger than yourself. From long-held legacy by those who built our communities, to people you call family, friends, and neighbors. When you're a Lloyd Co-op member, you're an owner in a local business that prides itself on purpose alongside profit. You earn cash back, you help support causes that matter most, and you're building a better way of life for the next generation. Membership matters more.
Local people. Local news and events. Local sports. Local matters. For all things Lloydminster and area, this is Live with Kurt Price.
And welcome to the Lloydminster Exhibition and the new Lloydminster Nissan Exhibition Grill. Great to be here with you this morning. And right now at the new Lloydminster Nissan in the temporary location, which is the Big Blue Building on Highway 16 West. You're going to find Rogues and Cash Guys at cost. The 2023 Rogues and Cash Guys being blown out right now at the new Lloydminster Nissan, and still a great selection, but they are really starting to move fast. So if you want a smoking deal, get out to the new Lloydminster Nissan in the Big Blue Building on Highway 16 West. We're going to be there for a couple more weeks, and invite you on a cool day like today to come out and shop indoors. But lots of colors, lots of levels to choose from for 2023 Rogues and Cash Guys at cost right now at the new Lloydminster Nissan. Dustin Newman and Lane Columbine are here to take us through some of the fundraising happening for the Kitscoty Sports and Events Centre. And we're also going to talk to Derek Armstrong. As you know, the teachers are at strike in Saskatchewan today for the entire day, and that's the entire province. And then on Friday, Lloydminster and Humboldt are going on strike as part of the rotating strike. So it seems like kind of a redundant thing because they've already said they're going to take job action. So we'll talk to Derek Armstrong about that this morning as well. BioClean Disaster Services is a local company that's restoration and cleaning is second to none, and we're glad that we have their support here on Live with Kurt Price. Wind, fire, flood, that can be so disastrous to your property and to your belongings, but you know what is even worse? How hard it is on your family. That's why at BioClean Disaster Services, their commitment is to you and your family. All products are safe, but it's also about keeping you up to date. Keeping you up to date on what's happening with your restoration project and getting your family dynamic back to where you were before the disaster. That's whether you're in your home or your business. Committed, certified, reliable, and very local, serving Lloydminster, Wainwright, St. Paul, Bonnyville, and Cold Lake. That's BioClean Disaster Services at 1-833-246-8326. Lloydminster Bobcats now down 2-1 in their playoff series with the Canmore Eagles after a 4-3 loss last night in Canmore, in which the Bobcats were outshot badly. You can catch Game 4 tonight at a viewing party at the Canadian Brewhouse here in Lloydminster. That goes at 7 o'clock. Game 5, Friday night, back at the Civic Centre, and tickets are on sale now at Tate's Cold Beer and Liquor and at Payless Car Wash. And the Northeast Alberta Junior B Hockey League final, it got really interesting last night after Wainwright beat Vermilion in overtime in Vermilion in last night's Game 3. The visiting teams have won all the games so far in that series, so Vermilion now with a 2-1 lead. And Game 4 is tomorrow night in Vermilion at 8 o'clock. Last night a 4-3 overtime win for the Bisons, and we know that there's a lot of players and coaches from Lloydminster on that Vermilion Vermilion team, so we're following that one pretty closely. Border City Card Show is this Saturday as we stick with the hockey theme. That's happening at the Gold Horse Casino, and Ben Scrivens is going to be there. He's going to sign autographs from 1 to 4. Ben played 144 games in the NHL for Toronto, LA, Montreal, and with Edmonton. And in Edmonton, set an NHL record that still stands today for most saves in a shutout at 59 when he shut out the San Jose Sharks on January 29th, 2014. And he told us that that game didn't exactly go to script.
The worst warm-up I think I ever had in my pro career. Like, I think I stopped 3 pucks in warm-up. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be, honestly, like, this is going to be a bad one. And got out there. And I mean, that's one of the things you learn to do as, the longer you play, more established you get in the league, is like, you know what, like, anything that happens before you kind of just figure out ways to reset yourself. And so I went in during the intermission between warm-ups in the game and just tried to kind of reset and, all right, let's just make the first save and see where it goes from there. And I made the first couple, and I think the third one was a little bit uncomfortable, but made the save, and then just started to get a little bit of momentum. And I was seeing pucks really well. They also hit 2 posts, and you know how those things go. Sometimes they're posting in, sometimes they're posting out. So I got fortunate there. And then also Nick Schultz blocked a shot in the third period that was going in. So
that's this Saturday at the Gold Horse Casino again. The Co-op Marketplace getting ready for Easter, and they're teaming up with the GOAT and the Lloydminster RCMP for Operation HOP on March 28th. That's Operation Help Our People. They'll be collecting food for the Salvation Army. The Legacy Centre is hosting a pancake breakfast this Sunday. Cost is $12 for adults, $6 for those 12 and under, and that starts at 9 and runs to 11 a.m. Superior Water is proud to provide you with the purest drinking water possible, and I drink it because I like the taste. I believe it is superior to anyone else's water. I think it's the best water in Lloydminster, and at just $3 a jug, you get a great consistent taste. And don't forget, the ice for that Crown Royal is just $2 a bag. They have 2 locations in Lloydminster. You can visit them beside Sheepskin Loft on 57th Avenue. If you need help with those big blue jugs, you won't have to ask for it. You can also visit their coin-operated location by 7-Eleven, just off Highway 17 South. At Superior Water, water treatment is what they do, and they do it well. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have a short conversation with Derek Armstrong, who's the president of the Lloydminster Teachers Association, who you will see picketing on Highway 16 today as they are on strike today. They're back at school tomorrow with job action again. They're going to be working to rule, and then they're out of classes again on Friday to hit the streets once more. Derek Armstrong is next.
I'm Brian Zinchuk of PipelineOnline.ca. I used to be a pipeliner, and I've spent the last 15 years reporting on energy in Saskatchewan. PipelineOnline.ca provides comprehensive coverage of light oil, heavy oil, lithium, helium, power production including coal, wind, solar, geothermal, natural gas, and nuclear. There's a lot happening in Saskatchewan's energy sector, and Pipeline Online is there for all of it. No one else comes even close.
It's more than just taxes at L&A CPA. Assurance, accounting, retirement planning, estate planning, business consulting, financial consulting, farm program support, and bookkeeping. But yes, there is always taxes. The team at L&A CPA is committed to helping you achieve your best results and will be there to assist you every step of the way. L&A CPA, with offices in Provost, Vermilion, and Lloydminster.
At Jason Arden Associates Cooperators, we're proud to be a top-rated local insurance company that offers flexible solutions and expert advice for all your insurance and investment needs. We'll work with you to tailor your insurance specific to your needs, and we offer investment advice that always puts you first. At Cooperators, one of our core values is to give back to the communities that we live in. Thanks to the support of our clients in Lloydminster and area, in 2023, Jason Arden Associates has donated $40,000 to local nonprofits, charities, students, athletes, and other special events. How does your insurance company support our community?
Welcome back. Our guest is Derek Armstrong. He is the president of the Lloydminster Teachers Association here in Lloydminster, of course, which is the Lloydminster Public School and the Lloydminster Catholic School. So I've had that question a couple of times, if you represent both. And yes, he definitely does represent all teachers. Derek, not much has changed since the last time we spoke, and I really appreciate you giving us some of your time. But one thing that has changed is the government saying they've given $356 million, and they'll announce this in the budget today, to school boards. And they're saying that is kind of to direct complexity. What has happened with that $356 million? I mean, I hear that and I go, oh, $356 million. They say they're going to increase the budget today by 9%. What's keeping teachers out of the classroom today?
What's keeping teachers out of the classroom is the government continues to circumvent the bargaining process, and by not putting any additional funds into the contract, gives us we just know that from past experiences that the government can't be trusted with these decisions at this time, because they've gone back, they've scaled back on funding. In 2017 and 2016, they didn't fully fund the negotiated contract, and we are standing behind our position that dollars need to be put into the contract so that school divisions have sustainable funding, that they can best resource the classroom situations that they have in their communities.
Can you help me understand when you say for school boards, and then we hear the government say, well, we're giving them $356 million. That's all I hear is the government saying we are giving them $356 million. So how do you explain that, Darren?
Yeah, so when you strip down that 4-year funding agreement, a large majority of those dollars are already in the budget. And you can see that they've allotted less than $50 million next year as an increase. Most of that money has already been allocated through this year through their innovation grant, their pilot projects, and earlier one-time funding. So really you see a small amount of money that's spread over the 4-year agreement. But even so, that money is best placed into the contract so that the school divisions have the long-term sustainable funding that they need.
People are going to say it comes down to money as well for teachers. They have offered, I think it was a 12% increase.
They had offered a 7% increase. Then they offered a fourth. It wasn't. I know it wasn't 12.
Okay.
I don't think we got to 12 yet. The piece for the teachers bargaining committee and teachers is we want to talk about the biggest issue, and the biggest issue is class size and complexity. It has been established across the province, or across the country rather, that it is appropriate for class size and composition to be bargained and to be placed inside the contract. Our conciliation process in December established that, and government continues to be unwilling to negotiate on those terms. While salary is important and teachers and school staff deserve those increases, that's not what we're really wanting to talk about first. That can be talked about at the end. We want commitments from government to make meaningful and significant investments into the students.
Derek, when we look at the STF and the government, both seem to be, I hear the same thing out of both of them. They're not talking. We're not talking. They're, each saying they're not talking. Nobody seems to be talking. How do you, as a teacher and the president of the Lloydminster Teachers Association, how do you must get frustrated when both sides say no? It appears nobody is talking, but they're blaming each other that they're not talking.
Yeah, absolutely. It is frustrating, and it's frustrating that the government continues to not be willing to negotiate at the table. The MOU signed with the School Board Association is an example of how they're trying to skirt around the process. That's a backdoor deal, and those conversations should be happening at the table. So, in my mind, I'm going, how come they didn't? How come the teachers group was left out of that conversation? That was a piece that was essentially inked and done in less than 24 hours. That tells us that that's not a genuine offer. There's no actual negotiation. There's no discussion at the table. So it's difficult for me to hear the Minister of Education say that the best deals are done at the table, and then they try to make the deal happen outside of the negotiating process. I think teachers have been strong this round in that this is about supports for students, and we need it now because of the erosion to public education over the last decade. And so I think that's why we're not willing to engage unless they're willing to actually have a conversation rather than skirt around the process.
I talk about things that have changed since the last time that we spoke, which is about a month ago, I think, maybe a little over a month ago. One of the things that may be changing is you may be losing support from the public. It seems as though February, you had a lot of support from the public. Now we hear a lot of, well, they're using the kids as pawns. How do you respond to that?
To be honest, Kurt, I still think we have, and I fully believe that we have a large majority of the public that supports us. Are there bits and pieces and people that are either losing that, or maybe we didn't have their support right from the beginning? Absolutely. And we see that with any type of social issue, political issue. You take to any social media and you see people on both sides of an issue. So while there might be a bit of change with some, I don't think it represents a large majority.
Students are starting to get frustrated because they don't want to see, extracurricular stuff disappear.
And we're just as frustrated. The Teachers Bargaining Committee made the offer to return to the table using binding arbitration to discuss just class size and complexity. That was a public announcement and offered to the government with the intention that if the government accepts, we would completely suspend all sanctions. The government still has not accepted that offer. There are not a lot of dispute resolution processes at our disposal because the government had stripped some of that out 2 rounds of negotiations ago. So sanctions, as troublesome as they are for everyone, it's the only process that we have at our disposal to try to negotiate with government in good faith.
When we say those sanctions, what does that really mean?
Sanctions include the strike days, the removal of noon supervision, the removal of extracurricular activities. I've had a lot of teachers share a post on social media that says teaching is the only profession where doing exactly what you're paid to do is called job action. And when you think about that, we are at the core, we are hired to teach curriculum. But we do a ton of stuff on top of that. We engage with supervision duties. We engage with students outside of the classroom for extra support. We engage with students for extracurricular activities. There isn't a teacher that doesn't put hundreds of hours of volunteer time in every single year and have done that for decades. And so it's disheartening to hear that people don't understand or respect that we do have our own lives, and teachers are volunteering a lot of time and making large commitments to their communities. And I think a lot of the public understand that. Everyone appreciates having the basketball tournaments and the chess clubs and the art clubs and the drama productions, but teachers are right now in a labor dispute with the government, and the government is fully in charge. It can all end if they're willing to negotiate.
Today's a big day with the budget coming out. People are going to hear a lot of numbers. They're going to hear 9% increase, I believe, over. And once again, they've said this before, the most money for education per capita of any province. What do you want people to know when they're hearing that budget today? Because they're going to hear a lot of numbers, and those numbers are all going to be up there. You kind of talked on some of that.
For sure. Just know that within those numbers, not all of that is targeting to resolve any of the problems that we're seeing in education. That also includes infrastructure spending. We know both Western provinces here are doubling down on their infrastructure spending. Schools are great. Shiny new buildings are great. but you have to have the staff to be able to support and work in those buildings. We have more students. You can put them in a building, but they need educational assistants. They need speech language pathologists. They need occupational therapists. They need teachers. They need the programs in place. So not a lot of that money is going to go to that side of things. You'll also see increases to the library and childcare side of education that has been brought into the education budget over the last number of years, which has inflated the overall number and makes it look like there's more or additional spending on education when it's just really combining budgets.
More job action on Friday. There was supposed to be planned job action on Friday anyway with the suspension of the extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
Do you know why Friday?
I don't know why Friday. All I know is Friday is a rotating strike in the province, so there's only certain communities and like school divisions or local associations that are involved. On Friday it is Lloydminster, Horizon, which is kind of east of Saskatoon, and the SAS, the SAS DLC, the new online school. We haven't been part of a rotating strike for a little while. We've definitely seen other communities who have been part of the rotating strikes more often than us. So I would assume it's kind of our turn, but I'm not privy to kind of the strategy behind it.
Okay, people might kind of interpret that as, they're things are really ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing from parents here in Lloyd? You said you still feel like there's a lot of support.
Yeah, our teachers hear from the parents. We see it on social media. We encourage members to take to social media to share their experiences, share their opinions. And when I review those things, I see nothing but support in our community. So I feel like we have the public still on our side, because we have, as teachers always do, we have students' best interests at heart, and at the center of this round of negotiations is students and the supports for them.
Does it all lead back to complexity? If you could get an agreement on complexity, would this be over?
This would be over, I think. Yeah.
Are you back picketing on Friday too?
We will be out Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be out along Highway 16 again, and we encourage and welcome the public to stop by. We encourage families to continue popping by and saying hi to their teacher and showing their support. And I think that the teachers over the last couple months, when we have been out here, have been absolutely overwhelmed. I know the first strike day they were unsure of what it would look like. We know that many protests continue to happen in Lloydminster, and you never know how the public's going to take it. And it had been absolutely overwhelming, the support.
Anything I'm forgetting to ask, Derek? You want people to know about what's happening with strike action or suspending extracurricular?
I want people to know that teachers do not want this. This is a part of the process, and if they can do anything, it is call an MLA, email an MLA, call Premier Moe, call Minister Cockrell. We need to get the public to help us make the government listen and understand and return to the table to negotiate a fair deal.
It's Derek Armstrong he's the president of the Teachers Association here in Lloydminster. Thank you so much, Derek.
Thank you, Kurt.
Save some green this March by visiting the new Lloydminster Nissan in the Big Blue building on Highway 16 West. Purchase a new car, truck, or SUV from the new Lloydminster Nissan this March and get lucky. Right now at the new Lloydminster Nissan, your first payment is on us, and you can win free payments for a year with your new or pre-owned purchase. May the luck of the Irish be with you all March and all year. The new Lloydminster Nissan. We won't sell you a car, we'll help you buy one.
How can you help support the oil and gas industry and jobs in Western Canada? The answer is closer than you think. Sell your scrap metals to PWM Steel. PWM sells scrap iron to Evraz, located in Regina. Evraz's #1 customer is the energy sector, building pipes and plates for the oil and gas industry. PWM Steel is your locally owned metal recycler and steel service center in the area. Plus, they're a strong supporter of the community. PWM Steel, your top steel supplier for Alberta and Saskatchewan for 40 years.
At Diamond 7 Meats, we work with local farm families to provide a high-quality product and a great selection for you. Try our mouth-watering smokies, pulled pork, roast beef, and more, made pure and natural with no additives or fillers. We offer custom processing, and our experienced team works for you to provide a selection of sausage, burgers, and jerkies made to your specifications. Take your grilling to the next level with a Yoder smoker. Complete the grilling experience with a Canadian-made, award-winning line of House of Q barbecue sauces. We're locally owned and operated, and we look forward to seeing you today.
Welcome back to the new Lloydminster Nissan Exhibition Grill here at the Lloydminster Exhibition. Wellings of Lloydminster is a very new way of living in Lloydminster for those 55 and older. It's for those that are looking for a change, looking to get out of all the responsibilities that come with a big house, taking care of shingles, fixing water faucets, drips, or rip up flooring, shingles, all kinds of stuff, even shoveling snow and things like that. If you want more time for yourself, but you still want that independent living where you can still have a garage, where you can still have people over, you can have 2 bedrooms, your own thermostat, your own little villa, then you need to call Wellings of Lloydminster. Call Darlene and she will take you through one of their gorgeous villas. And right now they are building a clubhouse. They start that in April here. They're going to be breaking ground to build a clubhouse for that nice little community that's located over by the new 7-Eleven and Petro-Canada, right in behind there. Wellings of Lloydminster. Call Darlene. You're going to really enjoy her. And I know that if you're thinking to yourself, well, one of the reasons that I'm looking to get out of my house is because of my health, but I'm not ready to go into a senior facility yet. I don't want to sign a long-term lease. You ask Darlene about that. You're going to really like her answer. 780-872-8537. It's a pleasure for us to be joined now by Dustin Newman and Lane Columbine, who are here today representing the Kitscoty Sports Events Centre, which is still in the planning process, I suppose, in a way. Dustin,
well,
thanks for being here, by the way.
The planning's mostly done at this point. We're into the raising money phase so we can get the facility built at this point. So that's kind of our focus at the moment. And we got a number of activities going on to generate the fundraising so we can push towards getting grants to get the facility built. So
those grants come in nice and handy, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
You guys did a Klunker Dunker last year, doing it again this year. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we have a van parked out on a slough right by Kitscoty. Essentially, we have a website, klunkerdunker.com. You can go on to and pick your time of when you think it's going to fall through the ice in the spring here. And then obviously if you pick the winning time, you get 50% of the pot of whatever is raised, and the other half goes towards the Kitscoty Sports and Events Centre.
I'm sitting here thinking, how is it not falling through already? It's been so nice.
You know what's funny is I was out on the ice the other day doing something, and it was during the warm stretch there, and there was actually a good 6 inches of water on top of the ice right next to the Klunker Dunker. Now it's getting cold this week, so how does that affect things? I don't know. That's why it's a little bit challenging to pick the time, but it's a fun little competition to see who can pick the winning time when it goes through the ice. So
you guys have a little bit of a competition going too, and I want to talk about how you support the Klunker Dunker, but raising funds will get people, not only that van into the water, we'll get some people into the water too.
Yeah, so this Saturday we've got the polar plunge going on, and anybody who it's on the Klunker Dunker website as well. I'm up there and get me over the total, and I'll also be going into the
What's
cold.
your total?
2,500 to go in the icy slough water, and I'm about halfway there.
You did that last year, right?
I did do it that last year as well. The cold water was not great, but it's a stinky slough, so the smell was probably almost as bad as how cold the water was.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
Did you get sick afterwards?
No, you know what's funny is the next 2 days after that, I felt amazing. I don't know if my immune system kicked in from how bad the water was or what, but I felt amazing the 2 days after that. So
I can't believe that, because I went for an accidental swim with Bud Miller one year, and I got so freaking sick. I was like, when I watched you go in, I'm like, he's going to get so sick. I can't believe you didn't get sick.
No, I felt great. Actually, what's funny is I went in the water and it didn't, it hit me, but it didn't hit me that much. And I stayed in there for, I don't know, maybe a minute or something. And then at that point, I was like, oh God, I'm getting cold. And when it popped out, my whole body started to tingle and I felt kind of warm. And I was standing on ice with wet feet, and I felt great. And like I said, the next 2 days I felt amazing. So
no hot tub on site to just
no, you just towel off before you go home and wash the stink off you. So. So yes, I'm sure I'll be going back in again this year. So
you're $2,500. What's the next level?
So there's a couple of us at $2,500, myself and Kirk Hughes, who's the fire chief for County of Vermilion River, and then the principals at the school are $3,500 each. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about how you can get involved with Klunker Dunker. Where do you go?
Klunkerdunker.com will take you to the webpage where you can buy times for the Klunker Dunker, plus the polar plunges on there as well. So,
okay, and if anybody wants, they can go back and check when it fell through last year.
Yeah. So,
but my goodness, this year's been completely different.
Yeah. April 15th, I think, was last year about when it went in. Yeah. But it totally depends on the year and how quickly it melts.
We actually have that on the website. If you go to buy a ticket, it'll tell you the dates.
And then Lady won last night. Right? Last year was Denise Muckaruck last year won it. She's from Lloydminster, so she ended up winning around $9,000, I believe, was last year's total. So,
our total was just about 18, and
total.
She took home just under 9,000.
And you have somewhat of a better idea this year, actually.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that there's only so many times you can buy, so everyone keeps waiting. Like, I'll wait to buy my time. The problem is that we're getting close to the time, and if you don't buy, times start coming up, they'll get sold out. Like last year, by the time it actually went in, there was days ahead of time that were totally booked up, so you couldn't even buy a time. So
now's the time to actually get it.
Now's probably the time, if you're going to do it, to actually buy a time on the Klunker Dunker. So.
Well, you mentioned there was 6 inches of water. And I'm watching guys pull their fishing shacks off lakes in water.
Yes.
And I was thinking, that van's going in right away here. But you guys actually have it rigged up so it's by the minute too.
So what we have on there is there's a float switch on there. Blade Automation donated it. Float switch, kind of what your sump pump works off of, essentially. So once it gets into a certain amount of water, that switch goes up and it sends a text to my phone, and that's the winning time. So we've got it down to the exact second of when that float switch goes off. And then when you're buying online is 10-minute intervals of when you think the clunker is going to go in. So if that time when it goes when the float switch flips is in your 10-minute slot, that's the winner. So
during the day last year,
it was
kind
5
of later.
o'clock.
Yeah, it was
5
later
o'clock or so in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
The other
that's
thing
interesting
that's
itself.
Good to know too is the early buying options.
Right.
For till March 23rd, we have the option that you can buy 25 tickets for $250, or was it 8 tickets for $100?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
That expires, and then it just is basically buy the ticket or 3 for $50. So anybody that's thinking that they'd like to buy tickets should do it before the 23rd and take advantage of it.
I can't believe that's the early bird. It's been so nice.
Yeah.
And then to say it's the early bird. Here we are, first day of spring. Now that's one fundraiser that you guys have going on.
Yes.
Before we get into the house, maybe what I should have started with, and I apologize for this, maybe tell us about the Sports and Events Centre, what you're fundraising for.
So the Sports and Events Centre is a multi-use year-round facility. The old curling rink is on its last legs, has been for a while in Kitscoty. The plan is to move that facility, the curling rink, down to the regional park at Kitscoty, so it can be used as a concession for the ball diamonds, clubhouse for the golf course, and then we're adding stalls and wash racks for 4-H. So 4-H actually has a home in Kitscoty. It's always kind of used the arena, but it's not a great spot. They'd rather be in some place with more grass and open area, so they have places to park their trailers and stuff. So yeah, it'd be a 4-use facility, essentially year-round for the Kitscoty community. And then because there's a facility down at the Ball Diamonds, all of a sudden now you can have events down at the regional park, whether it's ball tournaments or family reunions or whatever people come up with. Now you've got campsites with ball diamonds, with a facility that you can host anything out of. So we see it get used quite a bit in the summertime down at the regional park.
I apologize. I should have asked you about that earlier. I just kind of assume everybody knows you because it's been a few years now.
Yes, we've been working on this for more than a couple of years at this point. So.
Well, exactly. But the other thing I think is really interesting is anybody from Lloyd, seems to me like there's not too many people from Lloyd that haven't been to Kitscoty Hall.
Yes.
Like the two communities work really well together. So supporting Kitscoty really really helps Lloyd out as
We're
well.
we're 10 minutes down the road for Lloyd, and
Yeah.
a small little community. So yeah, we get lots of people come out to Kitscoty for lots of different events for sure.
Lots of people live in Kitscoty, drive into Lloyd for work, and that's where we're going to next, a place to live in Kitscoty. You guys are building a house. Tell us about that.
So Lane and Musgrave kind of put this project together, and I'll let Lane describe all the details of it, but the overall vision of it is build a house in Kitscoty that then gets sold, and how we're building it is through donated labor, donated materials. Village of Kitscoty donated the lot. So trying to build a house for, as little expense as possible, and then selling it for someone to move to the Kitscoty community, and then the proceeds of that obviously go towards the Sports and Events Centre and getting it built. So
Yeah, you got a lot of sponsors, Lane. You got a lot of people that have helped out.
There's 22 sponsors so far. We're still looking for a few more to fit into the mix. We're still looking for a siding contractor, and we've got a mutter and taper, but we're looking for somebody to hang the board in the house.
How did you guys come up with this?
The idea?
Yeah.
I think the idea, actually, it was in conversation with the Village of Kitscoty, because they have a new residential subdivision that they had kind of developed right around the time the market kind of dropped. So they haven't had much traction in selling lots. So we were putting together some ideas to help the village to maybe stimulate some new construction in the area. And one of the ideas we had, which it was a good synergy, because the event center it would be something that would attract people to the community. It would be a kind of a feather in the hat for the community if they had this type of a building. So what we had said is, rather than donating cash towards a building, donate a lot, allow us to leverage our ability to build a house, utilizing donated labor from local tradespeople, because a lot of the tradespeople who are going to do work on the house live in Kitscoty. So they have a vested interest to see their community do well. And we've had such good luck and such good interactions with those people wanting to help. And so the idea is we would use the donation of the lot from the village. We would leverage our ability to get donated labor and discounted material to build the house. Entities like Feldspar, who, they've stepped up in a big way. They're supplying all the concrete, all the aggregates, the pumper truck, the rebar, everything that we need for the concrete portion of the house. Dave Colrus has been very good to us and helped us in that way. Home Hardware, David Urka has stepped up big time with a substantially discounted material package for the house. So we're feeling pretty good that we'll be able to start once the frost is out of the ground, and potentially have this house completed, closed in, and ready to sell in the fall is kind of what we're hoping for. So.
And I apologize, I kind of cut you off. You were saying you're looking for somebody to hang drywall yet?
Yeah, so there's a few trades that, and part of the appeal to coming alongside us and helping is, Musgrave agencies, we've got huge subdivision signs. So we're gonna put together a subdivision sign where this house is being built, and we're gonna have the logos of each of the people that are participating, the companies, to give them some exposure for their businesses and what they do. We're cycling everything through our social media. We're doing things like this program to showcase those individuals and companies. And, when the building is built, there will be, a donor recognition wall, and our plan is to put together a proper recognition of this program, this new home construction program, and giving those people the spotlight for their donations and whatnot in the new building. So, I guess to come back to your question, we're still looking, for a siding contractor. We're still looking for somebody to hang the drywall board. We have a mutter and taper that actually, his name is Matthew Duncalf. Anyway, he just seen my social media post on Facebook, and he's a drywaller, and he reached out to me and said, hey, I'm really interested in helping you guys out. So, just things like that, which are really surprising. So We're looking for a cabinet supplier still. We're looking for a siding contractor, somebody to hang the drywall board, and we're still looking for a plumber. We have R&D has stepped up to do the HVAC, and actually Brian Fisher at R&D did us a huge solid because he went to his furnace supplier and EMCO and negotiated a donation of a furnace towards the house. So everybody is just doing their part, and it's such a great thing to be a part of because everybody's pulling in the same direction to achieve the same result. And it's good. Yeah.
If you are interested in doing any of that,
yep.
Do you contact the Sports and Events Centre or contact
Probably
Musgrave
me.
Agencies?
Like I work at Musgrave Agencies, so I can always be reached through there. So if there is somebody that's interested in being a part of the project, then reach out to me and would gladly have a conversation and see what that looks like.
Yeah, and I don't think you mentioned, so I will. You're probably not looking for any recognition, but I'll mention it. You're going to sell the house at no commission as well. So.
Yeah, so I mean, in a sale, there's always the listing and the selling commission in the sale of a property, and Musgrave Agencies and myself are donating the listing commission. We're still going to offer a selling commission because we definitely want all the realtors out there working towards selling this house once it's complete. So, and they need to be compensated because they're not volunteering to be a part of this. Now, if the realtor that sells it says, "Hey, I'll donate my commission," that's great. But we're not wanting to limit our ability by saying there's no commission either. So,
Kitscoty growing? You mentioned a new subdivision.
Yeah, well, Kitscoty. What's amazing about Kitscoty is there's the village of Kitscoty, and then there's all the acreages around Kitscoty. So if you look at a community, Kitscoty has about 950 people, but if you look at how many kids are in the schools there's about 750 kids in the school. So it's a bustling community, and it seems way bigger than the community, or the village actually is, just because of all the subdivisions, all the acreages surrounding Lloydminster and surrounding Kitscoty. So it's a growing little community for sure. Within the village, this will be the first new home that's been built probably since 2014 or 2013. This will be the first new home that's been built. Now, the other thing that's kind of ironic, and we see this in our job as realtors in the real estate part of things, is we're seeing a real reduction in the inventory levels in the existing home market, and we're starting to see that translate into new home sales becoming a thing again, where they, for a few years there just wasn't a lot of that interest because the existing market had dropped so low in value. There was such a gap between the existing market and the new market that you could literally buy a house in the existing market, put new flooring in it, put new cabinets in it, and still be less than a new house would cost you, just because of the price structure. But we're seeing the prices rising now, and that's going to help us. Like in Kitscoty, there will be the opportunity to buy this house in Kitscoty, a brand new house, for less money than you would buy that same house for in Lloydminster, even at what we're calling market value, and that has to do with primarily land values between the two communities. You're for sure this house in Lloydminster will be more money, so that's going to help us in marketing this house in the community of Kitscoty as well. So.
Is there anything I'm forgetting to ask about either the Klunker Dunker or the what are you calling it?
It's just the Kitscoty home construction, I guess, right?
Okay.
So,
right.
I think it's a great project. Should be wrapped up by the fall. At least the construction side is what the plan is, and it'll be on the market for the fall, hopefully. So, and obviously there'll be a lot of money generated towards the Sports and Events Centre when it comes to grants. So that'll come into play for sure. So.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? How's it going? How's fundraising going?
This is the first major fundraiser we're having.
Okay.
So we've got a bunch of fundraisers, Klunker Dunker being one with the Polar Plunge, home building. Kitscoty Days will be the next one that comes up at the end of May. Last year, the Sports and Events Centre put on a pig roast on the Saturday night, which included a musician and hopefully include fireworks this year. with a slow pitch tournament at the same time. And then in the fall, we're planning on having steak and shrimp fry with a musician on a Thursday night at the end of August. So we've got lots of fundraisers planned, and we've got to keep building those and building towards where we can get the grants to get the facility constructed. So.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you both being here.
Yes.
Is there anything else, though? I don't want to cut anybody
No,
off.
I don't think so.
I think that covers it.
Yeah.
Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on, Kurt.
We'll be back with you tomorrow, and another big show tomorrow. We're going to talk about everything equine tomorrow. Amanda Coop is going to join us. She's performing at the Victory Theater on March 27th, and we're going to take a look at Friday night's performance of Hoodie by Center Stage Studios. So, big show coming your way tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, right here at the Lloydminster Exhibition in the new Lloydminster Nissan Exhibition Grill.